Hi again. So, dealing with runes this time, aren't we? So, cheers.
Enjoy your summer day.
Will do. So here we are. Now that I've put one coat on one side, let's just check out the other side as well, shall we? So now about 50 minutes has elapsed since I put the first coating on, so we'll put another set on, shall we? So we'll upend them. Now these runes, this set is the expanded Futhark, which has 24 Elder Futhark, and the later comers, which was another 8, and then a couple of extras thrown in for good value, I guess. But this expanded Futhark arrived due to the pressures of the trading that the Vikings did in the known world, where they even formed kingdoms that later became empires, such as Russia, out of their trading posts along the Volga. Okay, so these child-proof caps are great, but they do need a bit of an effort. Okay, so hog's bristle again, always a great thing. Okay, so now this product, I bought this snake gully French polish already prepared, although I do have satchels of kilos of the beetle carapace, the shell from which the lac is made, and we dissolve that in methylated spirits, and off you go. So here we go. And put enough on the brush to make it a bit of a dollop. So there's plenty there to be soaked up by the fibre. Now, why the roundels soak up so much of this lacquer preparation to the tune of 21 coats at this consistency, where I dollop it on top, so there's plenty there, is in part due to the consistency, the type of lacquer. Now, so this is very thin and diluted. Now we can use Estopol, for instance, and that would only require about 4 to 5 coats, where it seals in an effective way. So then there's no problems about exposing the roundels to strong sunlight, even 2 days after the last application, because it then has dried sufficiently. It won't craze, which is certainly a thing that Estopol does, like certain types of motor vehicle lacquer will do the same thing. If you apply coats too thick, then and too quickly upon one another, you end up with a crazed effect. So back to this varnish business. So bear in mind that there are many coats required using shellac. You'll have to come back many times, clearly, to finish the job, both sides, don't forget. So in terms of making many in a run, then perhaps Estopol isn't the way to go for you or your requirements. But it's nonetheless a very fine and a very strong armour plate virtual effect on the wood as a result. But also, once again, to recap, on the colour change to the wood, that with successive coats building up, the undersurface or the colour of the wood itself will darken, whereas with products such as Estopol, the first coat turns the wood into the colour it was going to turn, and layers thereafter don't deepen the colour overly much. And so, of course, once you've done this, both sides, it's a good idea to coat both sides one after the other until, well, once both sides have been dried from the first application, then you can go about it in different ways, I guess. I will then just focus on one side and come back and apply successive coats until the required number has been reached, and we can see that by eyeballing the discs of the roundels, in that when once the moisture hungry fibres have stopped sucking in the applied layer, you can shove another couple on to give it a good thick even surface. Once that's dried, you want to be past the tack dry. Tack is where you can touch it, and like so, and there's a bit of moisture attached to it. Once it's dry, then turn them over and apply the necessary coats on the obverse side. That basically just saves time that you would have to employ turning the roundels over per successive coat. So now these have been treated for the first layer, and of course I'll wash this out with metho in a second. What you need to do, of course, is at times you've got to put lacquer along the bark, so that they get sufficient layers. But because that's along a wood grain, you don't have to put as many coats on. And my runes, I prefer to leave the bark on because it, as you can see, it gives a good effect. Where there's a dark outer ring, which is the bark ring, then the heartwood in the centre, and you've got the wood general wrapped around the heartwood. So you end up with to me, an aesthetically pleasing set of runes, but also it is traditional in that it's the whole of the tree, so to speak, in circumference, in cross section, that we are then using. Right, so now we've got some leather, about the right thickness for a pouch. You don't want the leather to be too thick, I'm sure. Cut out a template out of cardboard for a good sized pouch. So we'll just trace along the template sort of roughly. So we have that first one. Now what we have to bear in mind is that you'll be cutting two of these, and if you want to have the suede consistently on the outer part of the bag, in other words facing the outside, then you need to reverse the pattern, because the bits have to go together. Of course, it's always another feature to have shiny on the outside and suede on the other side. In this case, I think for sustained wear, the hide surface is best to be on the outside of the bag. And so then we'll just lay it out again. The whole process doesn't take long in this part. The stitching is where a bit of time and effort comes into it. So there we have two bags and the outlines. Okay, so I'll be using for the demonstration of this part three types of tools. Good old Norwegian carving knife, sharp blade. So just lay it down and commence the cut. There it is. Doesn't so much matter about the evenness or unevenness of the cut, because this will be on the inside of the bag once we've stitched it together. So that's using a good knife. The other, of course, is to use a scalpel. Naturally enough, a scalpel has a very sharp edge, a keen edge. So there you go. There's another fine cut. And of course, you can also use a pair of good scissors. These are surgical scissors from my anatomy days. There you go. And just get it organised here. Starting the cut there. You can do this. Yeah, it works okay. But you know, a good edge will be a faster process. Yeah, we can cut in there a bit better. So we have good shape. Again. So there we have it. A very fine piece of a panel for the coming pouch. Now, so of course you know you can, as I said, have it with shiny out, with the fleshy side out, or a mixture of one out and the other not. Now, I will fold these over, like so, and cut fronds. So you have it roughly how you want it, so that you'll be stitching two pieces together. You'll be punching holes along here, so the fronds need to be short of where the holes for the thonging will be. So let's take it about there. So it's easy enough done. Just cut along and create your fronds. It's all for an effect, really. There we go. So when folded over, you have this caper. Alright, now using two tones is a good idea, I feel, because it breaks the monotony of an all solid coloured object. And also with say the black and the close to white fawn, you know, you can have the yin and yang, if you like, or day and night, night and day, and you know, it gives additional personality to the object, I feel. There we go.